Hi everyone, Jessica here from Paper Ink Stamp and welcome back to my channel. So this is the first video for my Valentine's Day series. I actually only need to make one Valentine's Day card, which would be for my husband. The rest of them are pretty much going to be sort of friendship cards, sending love, sending happy thoughts, things like that, that still work around the idea of love and sending love, but they don't specifically have to be Valentine's Day cards. So I'm going to create two today. We're going to do a little bit of ink blending and stamping on top, and then we're going to create a heart aperture coming off the side of the card. So quite a clean and simple card here, but I thought this would be a really great design just to kind of get my crafty mojo back and really just sort of get into the swing of things again. So I did miss a little bit of footage here, ink blending the pinks, but the colour combinations you saw a minute ago, I used Spun Sugar, Kitsch Flamingo and Picked Raspberry. Then for the purples, it was Milled Lavender, Shaded Lilac and Wilted Violet. And so originally what I wanted to do was have my top layer, which had the heart die cut from it, to be up on foam. So it was away from that background and it just created a really nice shadow. But for whatever reason, I don't think I really thought it all the way through. I didn't ink blend the whole of this panel and stamp it, which I really should have, because then when you look down the side of the card, if it was up on foam, you'd be able to see that I hadn't ink blended right to the edge, and I thought that wouldn't look as good. So you'll see later on, but I just decided to just glue the front down onto this panel. So what I did was just to work out really where I needed to ink blend. I think this is where I made my mistake, because I was thinking, oh, which areas are you going to be able to see? I'll just mark those off, and then obviously didn't go all the way to the edges because I wanted to make sure within the area you would be able to see all of the three colours that I was using. So just really simple ink blending, going back and forth. It doesn't really have to be too perfect because we're going to be stamping over the top of this with black. So depending on what your stamp is like, how detailed it is, you know, you might not have to worry too much about getting that perfect blend, but I was just going back and forth between the colours. So the one thing I just want to mention is this cardstock. I picked it up from Hobbycraft. It's a home brand one of theirs. I was looking for some 300 GSM card to make my card bases, and I picked up this and I thought I would just give it a go with the ink blending because it was a smooth cardstock. You can see that I'm looking at it here. It was an absolute, in my opinion, rubbish cardstock to use for ink blending, because when I was going over it with the foam dauber, it was just kind of taking that top layer of it off. It really was just kind of sort of peeling away from itself, really. Yeah, I didn't really think much of it. For the card bases, it seems okay, but I'm definitely not going to be using it for, certainly not ink blending. I might test it with some other techniques, but yeah, definitely not for ink blending. But then saying that, it might have been different using my brush as opposed to using those daubers. That could be a solution to that. But again, I bought it specifically to make my card bases with. So now I did just dry these a little bit with my heat gun, just to make sure that the oxides were nice and dry before stamping on top of this. So I've got this is a Simon Says stamp background die, so it's red rubber. So I needed to flip the lid of my stamping tool here. And then I just inked it up with some Versamark black ink. And I ended up stamping this twice just to make sure that I got a really good impression. But you can see here that just stamping over that ink blend, it doesn't matter what the ink blending really looks like at that point, because you can see the color coming through, but the main focus is on that background. So this is my second one. So I wanted to do them differently, even though they're exactly the same design. I can use different supplies and colors to create the same card more than once. So yeah, I am sort of looking, while I've got my supplies out, to be making the most of that. And you know, if I can create more than one card, then I will do so. So again, inking this up in the exact same way. So just using my Versamark ink here. This is Onyx black, I think it is. And yeah, a really great ink for stamping. So I did make a mistake here. So I needed to stamp this again, but this is a very crucial thing, a lesson that everybody needs to learn, is to make sure that your project or your card, whatever you're stamping onto, is back into that corner of your stamping platform. That is the most important thing. If you take nothing away from any video of mine, that is a really important thing. If you're using a stamping platform, make sure you're putting it back in that corner. I didn't. That second stamp, the card had moved, hadn't gone back into the corner. It looks fine. I don't think you notice it too much, but I don't have that perfect stamp. It's got a little bit sort of a hazy, if you like, because the stamp moved. So I'm going to just cut down 2 pieces of cardstock to go on top of this panel, where I'm going to die cut then the love heart from this. So I'm just cutting my panels down. So these are 3 3/4 inches by 5.5 inches. So these are just 1/4 inch smaller both ways than my card base. So I'm just trimming it all down because I'm just, like I said, going to glue it straight on top. So this is the point where I wanted to, the piece that I'm die cutting now, I wanted that to be up on foam on my background, and it would create that really nice shadow. But I really love having this offset look as well. I think, again, it makes a really nice, clean and simple card. And these pieces here you're going to see in the next video. So I've managed to get another 2 cards out of this card project here, which I'm really happy about. And we're going to do the same sort of thing again. It's going to be that same sort of design to the card, but we're going to be obviously adding colour onto the love hearts rather than any other sort of technique. So again, I'm just gluing this on, so I'm just making sure, because it's the same size, I'm just making sure that I've got it really nice and lined up. And I added a good amount of glue here just to make sure that it did stick on top of the ink blending. But I did make sure that the ink was dry when I went to stamp my black background. So you can obviously make these a little bit more interesting if you wanted to. You could add more products on top of this as well. You could do heat embossing instead of just stamping. You could do through a stencil with some paste and things. But like I said, I was really just trying to sort of get back in the swing of making cards and making my videos again. So I went with a really nice, quick and simple design. These were really quick and simple to make. And just think, you don't have to use a love heart. You could absolutely use any other shape in here. You don't have to have it offset either if you don't want to. Just create an aperture and you can pretty much put anything behind it. You could even just do some patterned paper if you wanted to use that up. So for my sentiment, like I said, doesn't have to be actual Valentine's Day themed. We're just going with kind of love themed here. So the sentiment I went for was sending love. Just stamped it onto the bottom of the card, just onto the white. Again, very, very simple. And I'm just adding some foam onto the back of this. So it's not too simple. We've got a little bit of interest there with a little bit of dimension. And then I'm just going to stick these straight onto my card bases. So again, yeah, I really love how they turned out. Really quick and simple card designs, and can be changed. You can keep the concept but change it in so many different kinds of ways. I'm going to finish this up with just a few Nuvo drops on here, just to add another little pop of colour. I add some pink onto the pink card, obviously, and purple onto the purple card. And that is then just going to finish these cards off really, really nicely. So this did get me back in the mood. Like I said, I used those cut out love hearts on another project that you're going to see in the next video, and I've already got 2 more videos coming up, so I am well on my way to getting back into the swing of things. So that is going to be it for this video. If you did enjoy it, please give this video a thumbs up. I'm really aiming for the thumbs up here. If you watched the video, if you liked the video, please just hit that thumbs up button. I would really, really appreciate it. And of course, subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, because it is absolutely free to you. So yeah, that's going to be it for this first video back. So thanks very much for watching, and happy crafting.